Roman Reigns is speaking directly out on several rumors, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's happening with a change for the Wyatt Sicks and more. Starting things off with Roman Reigns addressing the biggest rumor in recent weeks. Just a few days before he made his WWE return, rumors were heavily circulating that Roman and his wife had welcomed a sixth child into their family. It was an official report that was everywhere. Even mainstream media outlets were covering the report. But in a new backstage video, Roman said there's no sixth child, so that whoever reported that first got some heavily wrong information. Roman joked that he's not trying to catch up to the number of kids that Jacob Fatu had, and how him and his wife are done with having 5 kids. Roman also spoke about people that were coming up to him and asking him about how his vacation was. Roman said there was no vacation or break of any kind. He said school was in session until June, and how they started tutoring right after that, so he never really got vacation time. But getting back to the July 21st edition of Raw, that was also a big moment for Roman Reigns because it featured the first face-to-face verbal exchange with Paul Heyman since the WrestleMania betrayal from back in April. Paul Heyman played it off as if he was still acknowledging Roman Reigns. Heyman pointed out that Seth Rollins is going to be out of action for a very long time, and how Roman should lead the group while Seth is out of action. Now, this idea doesn't really make sense at all for Roman to do. Heyman just betrayed him, so immediately linking up with him is not even a convincing offer in any way. Also, what would happen with Seth when he eventually returns? Would Roman himself be buddies again? That whole offer that Heyman made makes no sense at all, but it was just a desperate last-second attempt for him to escape Roman's rage. Roman said that Paul Heyman will try to take credit for what the Bloodline did and their creation, but Roman noted that the Bloodline was not any wrestling faction you could put together. How that was all God's work and destiny for them to be together like that. Roman also said that Paul Heyman never directly helped him with holding on to the WWE Championship for that 4-year reign, how it was all the other Bloodline members doing the heavy lifting and helping. Bron Breakker eventually got in front of Heyman, telling Roman that his prime was over 5 years ago, and how Roman is now old news, and how no one wants him there anymore. A brawl eventually breaks out between Roman and Jey versus Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. A lot of fans were questioning what Roman's SummerSlam match would look like after his big return episode, but this July 21st edition of Raw appears to confirm exactly what his SummerSlam match will be. It'll be Roman and Jey versus Brunson and Bron in a tag team match. A lot of fans are voicing some opinions, saying that this doesn't exactly feel like the strongest storyline for Roman Reigns. And right off the bat, that is true. Obviously, this current storyline for Roman is nothing compared to what he's been doing over the last few years. This SummerSlam program is definitely up there with some of his old, weakest storylines in recent memory. But maybe that's because it is a backup story after all. If Seth Rollins was healthy, maybe we would have seen Seth versus Roman with some decent story there. But with Seth on the shelf, they had to revert to this tag team match. So maybe that's why this story feels a bit weaker. This definitely wasn't the original plan. Fans were hoping for a singles match for Roman, since we have not seen him in a singles match since the Raw Netflix premiere back in January. But unfortunately, we'll have to wait a bit longer to see him in singles action. It'll be a tag team match there with nothing truly at stake. But you have 4 big superstars involved in this match. Plus, you have the mystery element surrounding Seth's injury, so that could be in play here as well. Will Seth pop out during this match to screw Roman and Jey in some way? Paul Heyman continues to emphasize every week that Seth Rollins will be out of action for such a long time, and as everyone knows, heels lie. Paul Heyman himself especially lies. So the more emphasis Heyman puts on Seth being injured for the long haul, the more fans expect to see Seth in the near future. So you may have nothing on the line in that tag team match, but Seth Rollins' status will continue to be an element there to think about. The Wyatt Sicks have been back for a few months now, and this run so far appears to be the more impactful one than their first run. Their first run consisted of them having some meaningless feuds with 2 factions, and that was it. But with their Smackdown run, they struck down on the tag team division right away, and eventually captured the tag team title shortly after. The Wyatts got the entire tag team division in a chokehold, and no team in that division knows how to handle the Wyatts. So not only are they champions, but they literally have full control over the tag team division and have it in complete lockdown. And with their new trait of entering that gray area and cheating to win, well, that now makes them more dangerous and unpredictable now. But the July 18th edition of Smackdown featured a very noteworthy change for the group that a lot of fans were asking for. When the Wyatt Sicks were first introduced, it was clear that Uncle Howdy was the lead and everyone else was following him. Not only was he the leader, but he was the real only mouthpiece of the group. Uncle Howdy interviewed Eric Rowan back in 2024 and very lightly introduced his members, but you never heard them speak before. Well, this recent edition of SmackDown completely changed that. The Wyatt Sicks had a backstage promo in which every single Wyatt Sicks member spoke and had lines of dialogue. A ginormous change to what we've seen from the group presentation so far. These other characters besides Howdy were all silent, dating back to 2024, but that's no longer the case. This especially is a big deal for Dexter Lumis, whose entire act was literally not talking at all throughout his career, even before the Wyatts found him. So now even Dexter Lumis is dropping big lines of dialogue now. It's a nice little arc for all the Wyatt members. They were all silent and shy at first, but now they've grown together as a family. They're all gaining confidence to speak out and say what's on their mind. This is something that a lot of fans were asking for, and it looks like it's finally here. All members are getting a chance to speak, and that should really help them a lot in their programs as it continues to progress on SmackDown. So hopefully things are definitely looking up now for the Wyatt Sicks, and hopefully that momentum can continue. This week's live events featured Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax recreating their viral moment from a while back of Rhea delivering a stink face to Nia. Rhea did note before that original moment was Nia's idea, and it went more extremely viral than any of them were ever expecting. And in the recent live event match together, Rhea and Nia recreated the spot, with Io Sky even getting in on the spot as well. But on top of that move, Rhea Ripley also stacked Nia up and hit her with her iconic pretzel pin during that matchup. Nia jokingly recreated the moment online, noting that she's only going to take a pregnancy test after that pin from Rhea Ripley. You can always expect to get some viral and funny moments out of those two. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.